Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is G-Sop Lee. I just top aided at Ft.Worth Regionals. I got 7th place with a record of X11. I lost to my awesome teammate Darian, who actually got 5th in the event. Shout out to him. And yeah, I played Nekroz, and Team Yumi and Decree wanted a deck profile, so here goes. So I ran the one releaser. This card's amazing in the mirror match, and shuts down a lot of other engines. Just a great card. Drawing it isn't even that bad, because you can just activate Clauseless and then activate Cycle, discarding the releaser, special summoning the Clauseless, and then the releaser is still engraved, so you can use it to tribute fodder, which will again set up a lockdown. So that was actually really handy. 3 Manju and 2 Senju. I opted not to run 3 Senju because I didn't want to open more than I didn't want to open more than 2 Senjus or Manjus because they clog a lot, and you want to have a lot of combo in your hand rather than one card that can get you one combo piece per normal summon per turn. So yeah. This worked out. It was pretty fluid. I actually drew into Senju and Manju a lot, so it wasn't that big of an issue. Yeah, these guys are great. I ran 2 Shrit and 1 Dance Resist. Shrit is obvious. I wanted to run 3. I was running 3 in past builds, but it just got a little cloggy, and like 2 felt really secure and really consistent, so I opted with that. And I decided to run Dance Princess because, well, first of all, you can do some cool stuff with Cycle and Unicore, get back your bandage stuff, let you resolve more Valk over a period of time. And yeah, another thing I can do with this card is that, oh yeah, Veiler and Fiendish Chain were getting popular, and I was afraid of that. This card also forces the activation of, or an early activation of Mind Crush, Vanity's Emptiness, and all that good stuff. It's just the card that applies more pressure than the Archmage does, so I decided to run that for the event. And then I ran 3 Maxi. To be honest, like, this card really wasn't that good. I anticipated it for Burning Abyss, even though that's already a good matchup. They can set up some decent lockdowns, you know, like they can make like Dante Vanities, or they can like make a Field of Downards. They can go triple Dante. They can go into Dark Law, which is a pain in the ass. You just want to draw some cards before they get to do some of the lockdown setups that they can do. It's also for just like any rogue deck that might go off turn 1, you know, Karakuri, random stuff like that. Alright, let's go towards the ritual monsters. So I ran 3 Brionic, should be obvious, and 3 Unicore. This card's like really good mid to late game. Like you gotta be really smart about how you use your Unicorns, especially in the rear match. I always like to Emerald these guys back in, because once you're out of Unicorns, it's really hard to like get your plays going. 2 Clauseless. I was running 1 because I thought 1 was optimal, because once you saw 1 ritual spell, you don't need to see another one. But the problem with that was that like when I activated Shrit, like I could have gotten a 2nd Clauseless, but my first one was already in the grave. So I decided to run 2, because 2 is great when you're winning, and it's honestly not bad when you're losing. I decided to run the 1-up Trish and the 1-up Decisive Armor. I mean, these are pretty standard. Decisive Armor is great against back row attack. And my last 3 monsters are 3 Valkyries. This card's amazing in the mirror. Some people have been cutting this down to 2, and I have no idea why. This card's absolutely amazing. It does everything that the deck wants you to do. And yeah. You may notice I opted not to run Gungnir. I actually sided the Gungnir. Let me pull it out real quick. My reasoning behind not running Gungnir is that I don't think it's very good, because it contributes to bad hands, and you really never want to draw it. You always want to be adding the card. So, and like usually when you use the discard effect, you have to be at an extremely high card advantage. So the card's not very good when you're being floodgated. I was running 2 Valkyrs, but I opted to run the 3rd Valkyrs over the Gungnir, because Gungnir is great for stopping a battle, when you have a Nekroz monster, Valkyries will stop the battle phase entirely, regardless of whether you have a monster or not. So I just thought that was a more versatile choice, and I always want to see Valk in the mirror match. I don't want to see Gungnir as nearly as often. So yeah, that's my reasoning behind Gungnir. I don't think it's mandatory. So yeah, let's go into the spells. 3 copies of a Saki top deck, Preparational Rites. I drew this card pretty often, not gonna lie. Like, this card's like absolutely amazing, generates so much advantage. Yeah, I mean you gotta be smart with what you activate and add, but aside from that, it's an amazing card. It can win you games. 2 Kaleido, 2 Nekroz Mirror, and 2 Nekroz Cycle. This is standard. You don't want to open multiples of any mirror, and yeah, you don't want to open too many mirrors. But you want to use a mirror more than once. 1 blue book, 1 red book, and Raigeki. Yeah, I mean, I opened this card a lot. I'm not gonna lie, like, I sacked so many people by just having Book of Moon. I remember round 9, my Sitar Knight opponent, he went like Duality into Vanities, Road into Deneb, Thunder King set 3 pass. I thought I lost that because that was the match that decided whether I topped or not. I drew my 6th card and was Book, and that Book literally won me that game. It was great. Book of Eclipse. Book of Eclipse was amazing in the mirror. I shut down a lot of things, like, and I don't know, it worked out really well. It was decent against the Tower Knights because I didn't want them to exceed sometimes. Aside from that, I never really got it off. Yeah. Raigeki is Raigeki, so I ran it because this deck does not have many ways to get manual destruction. And then the last 3 cards in my deck are 3 MST because I did not want to get floodgated that day. Some players were dropping MST down to 2 so they can have more combos, and I'd rather be able to play than not be able to play. Like, but have more access to cards. Like, I wanted the utility that MST offered me, even though it's not that great in the mirror. So yeah, that's my main deck. On to the side deck. Let me get it out. Here we go. Okay. So I did side the 1 Gungnir for the rogue matchups like Ritual Beasts, Volcanics. I sided this in against the Tower Knight. I opted not to side this in against Ft.Worth because I did not want to draw this card when I was being floodgated and I didn't have an MST. I'd rather just draw into an MST. Then I sided in 2 Fire Hand, 2 Ice Hands. These guys are amazing. They destroy Ft.Worth, they destroy back row dot deck. They make things hard to play around. Your opponent can be smart about it and then make them miss timing with Mirror Force, but yeah, it doesn't always happen. Sided 2 Veiler for the mirror and some other decks. I sided this against Tower Knight too. I didn't really get to draw it. I drew it against the Senju player that I sided it in once, and like honestly, I had that game in the ropes anyway. Let me focus here. Cool. But yeah, Veiler's an amazing card. You ideally want to stop Valk or Trish. Trish, if you get Veilered, this is your out to their Veiler. So there's that. 1 Side Blocker. This card can declare anything and stop it. This is an out to Vanity's Emptiness. This is an out to Spell Canceller. This is an out to Nekroz of Valkyries. This is an out to like Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. Like, this card can single-handedly out almost anything. This card's just, I don't know, it's won me enough games to say that like he's probably the MVP of the mirror. 2 Shared Ride, mostly for the mirror match. I got it off often, and like honestly, like your opponent probably won't push. 2 Twister. Not much I can say about here. I didn't want to side in too many MSTs because I wanted to draw enough combo to actually play. So I only put in 2 Twisters, so that's total 5 MSTs total. And that's I guess 7 if you include Ice Hand, but I don't put that in every matchup. Oh, not as nearly as often as I do with Twister. 2 Mirror Force because Ft.Worths are a deck. Basically, like, this is just to like when I said everything, I want them to get paranoid about it, but they're probably just like, they're probably just bluffs. Just mirror force them. I actually mirror forced a Ft.Worth player for game, my round 2 opponents. I tried to get him to pay life points, so he was at 2,200. He paid 800 and got down to 1,400 and summoned a second carrier. I mirror forced both of them, and then next turn I drew Manju and attacked for game. I mean, you could call it sacking, but like, that was my plan, because I think that was my only win condition at that point, because we were both like sorely out of resources. So, yeah. And then my last card on my side is a Vanity's Emptiness. I sided this in for a mirror match. I sided this in against the Tar Knights. Funny story, like against this Tar Knight player, I set a Shrit and he couldn't get over it, so he tried to turn off his own vanities by summoning Unikal High and milling Deneb. And when he activated Vanity's effect to destroy itself, I chained my own vanities, because I read that he had a Call the Haunted set, and he actually ended up having Call the Haunted set. He actually had 2 Call the Haunted set. So yeah, this was an extremely good play that I did. I think I did. I thought it was a pretty good read, and like honestly, it helps so much in the mirror, because the mirror match sides out MST, but the advantage that I have is I have the 1 side blocker that can shut down Emptiness. So yeah. And then the extra deck is just 1 Dragon Master Knight, because he's level 12. 2 Arclight. It's pretty simple. You just go Unicorn. Yeet. 1 Leo. I was running Crimson Sunbird over Leo because he's funny, but the problem associated with that was that if my Unicorn got Mind Crush when I activated Kaleidoscope and I'd have a Brio in hand, I have to be forced to summon the Brio, because I had the Crimson Sunbird in my deck. So I just decided to run a Leo. This will probably be the Xyz Rebellion Dragon, or a second copy of either Lavalval Chain. Yeah, probably either second copy of Lavalval Chain or a Rebellion Dragon. I've never gone into this, and I've never used it for Kaleido Mirrors. Star Eater. I've actually synchroed into this once on Dueling Network, and I've actually had to use this for Kaleido Mirror. So this card's actually good. 1 Lavalval Chain. I go into this a lot. You know, I've had, you can stack anything and draw with Valk. It's amazing. Or mill the releaser. 1 Emerald, shovel 3 in. 1 Exciton, 1 101. I know 101 isn't very good anymore, but like I use him because he's immune to vanities. That's pretty much it. Cowboy, Direwolf, Castell, and Dweller. Okay, so I made Cowboy for game a lot. I made Direwolf once, but it ended up being a misplay. I'm still a little salty about it, but it's whatever. The 1 Castell, I made it against Ft.Worth my round 2, and I think I shuffled back in a macro against Yosenju's. And then the Dweller. I actually didn't have to make Dweller in the event, but I've had to make it before. So there's that. Dweller's also broken in that matchup because they pump the monsters up. And then 1 Ragna, 1 Rhapsody. Rhapsody was probably the MVP rank 4 at that day, because I actually had a scenario against a Tar Knight player. I basically trished him, banishing his Trever, his Vega in hand, and the Deneb in graveyard. He still had an Unikal High and another Vega, I think. So I made Rhapsody. Well, after attacking with Ice Hand, Unicorn, Trish, I made Rhapsody and then banished the last 2 Altair targets. And he pretty much couldn't play after that. So Rhapsody literally got me my regional top. So yeah, shout out to Team Xenos, repping it up. We now have 3 members of tops. Shout out to Austin, who actually took 6 out of the top 8 spots. We destroyed that regional. Shout out to Peter for providing me the whole deck. Shout out to Lawson for letting me borrow shared rides. And shout out to my lucky frog, who helped me sack through my way. Let me draw a Book of Moon and stuff. Yeah, shout out to Grave Robber, Korean Grave Robber. Don't fuck with them. Anyways, that's all. Thanks. Thank you, Yumi and Decree, for letting me put my deck profile on your channel. And I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.